Welcome to Wonderland. It's Eri here, and today I have another video for you guys. Quick heads up, I apologize about the lighting because it is raining outside, and I was doing the best I can to make it a little more bright in here with the lights. And I decided from now on, when I'm at school at least, when I film videos here, I will be using my headphones so I could speak in a lower voice, but you could still hear me without distracting or disturbing anything that's going on out there, anyone who might be sleeping or whatever. And again, roommate's not here, so you get a lovely view of her bed. Today we are going to be talking about Stalking Jack the Ripper. Now, as a part of my New Year's resolution, I made the Goodreads goal of reading 70 books this year, and I told myself I will read at least one book a week, whether it be a novel, graphic novel, short story, poem, play, whatever, any genre, don't matter how long it is, but I would read at least once a week. And this past week I read Stalking Jack the Ripper. Now, I do have some opinions and feelings about this book, so if you do not agree with me, these are my opinions, these are my feelings. If you have different opinions or feelings, feel free to share in the comments. But I will say that this book, it was an interesting read, and a quick heads up, there will be a few minor spoilers, not major spoilers, just in case anyone is interested in reading the book. Now, to give a quick synopsis without reading the book jacket, it is basically a girl living in Victorian England in the 1800s, and she is studying forensic science, even though back then that was pretty much frowned upon, especially for women, like mainly for women. I mean, it's not frowned upon for men or whatever. And around the time that she's studying under her uncle as an apprentice, the Jack the Ripper murders are happening, and she pretty much gets obsessed with it and helping find out who killed these women, and she pretty much stalks Jack the Ripper in order to figure out who he is. Now, in the real life case, the murder is unsolved. No one knows who Jack the Ripper was or who did it. There are conspiracy theories out there saying that it was a medical professor, it was a lonely teacher or guy, or someone's father, or a famous writer or something like that with medical background or whatever. There's so many theories out there. No one knows who really did it, but in this book you find out who does it, at least how the author wrote it. She created a character to be Jack the Ripper, and just from reading the back, because this is the hardcover, I assumed something. I'm going to read it. It says, "He murdered women in cold blood. He terrorized an entire city. He taunted those of us who hunted him down. But despite all these horrors, in the end, I cannot deny it. I was the girl who loved the Ripper." Now, when I read that, I thought she was going to fall in love with Jack the Ripper. I thought she was going to develop romantic feelings for him. Sorry about the camera, but I thought she was going to develop romantic feelings for him. So when the author introduced a love interest, these are minor spoilers, forgive me, I thought, oh, he's Jack the Ripper. So through like most of the story, I'm thinking he's Jack the Ripper. But then I get to pay like $200 or whatever, and I'm like, he's not Jack. He's not Jack. So I was misled when I read that on the back, and I just thought something else. But there are some other things that I find completely weird, not entirely wrong. A writer can never be wrong when they're writing their own masterpiece, but kind of weird that some people, I feel like, was like, oh, that was so wrong. Now, it took over 200 pages for the main character and her love interest to even kiss. And I mean kiss, not a peck on the cheek. I mean kiss. And it got to me in a way. I'm a romantic. I'm sorry. It just got to me. And then, not to mention, it also took over 200 pages for her to figure out who Jack is. And she came up with this list of suspects. And I'm just like, I figured it out. Before she did. When she was confronted by Jack, like when she confronted Jack in his you know, in his state, his insane, crazy state, she was stupid enough not to run, not to, go get help. She just stayed there. Even though her mind was telling her to run, she didn't do it. And she kept trying to save Jack, but there was no saving. Like, I felt like she was being a little bit naive, thinking that she could save Jack the Ripper and have him have a chance at redemption when that didn't happen. And then also, not to mention, there are a few historical accuracies in here, and then there's also some things that the author made up, which I found to make the story a little bit more interesting, more into to read. And it was a nice lengthy read. Like, it was only 326 pages, so of course it took me a week, especially with classes and all this other stuff. There are I'm trying to find them pictures in the book, like from actual pictures from 1800s, and the way each chapter looks like a blood splatter, that was really nice. The story itself was pretty unique, and it did have me, the first page, the first line that I read it did have me, like, I was into it. I was into the book. At the same time, I didn't like it because even though the main character was trying to be strong and feminine and all this other stuff, in a lot of good situations, she was being very naive and, to me, very stupid and very dumb, especially when her love interest was flirting with her and pretty much telling her, I have feelings for you, and she just gets annoyed with his arrogance or whatever. And I'm just like, woman, like, I just get angry. And then not to mention the fact that there were so many obvious signs that she was oblivious to. I know that's probably how the author wrote it, but it just made me mad in a way. Like, you're trying to create this strong female character and she's this oblivious to most obvious stuff, and it just irked me. Not to mention, when I found out who Jack was, I was a little disappointed. I was thinking, like, okay, makes sense in a way, but at the same time it doesn't, because when you meet his character in the beginning, he's not what you expected, and then when you find out he's Jack, it's a little confusing, sort of, and it, just to me, at least to me. And basically, this book, if I had to rate it, I would give it 2.5 stars, but because Goodreads does not believe in the half-star system, I end up giving it 3 stars on Goodreads. But if you ask me personally, it was 2.5 stars, mainly because it was a good story. It did have a lot of potential, but there was just some major yet tiny things in the book that just made me mad, just really, really made me mad, and in a way didn't kind of make sense. Now, I do recommend this to other people to give it a try. Just don't take my opinion and be like, oh, it's a bad book. Still read it. Still support the author. I mean, James Patterson published the book. I mean, this is from his publishing company, so we all love James Patterson, right? He's a great writer. And this author, apparently there is a sequel to this book coming out, and I know some things about it, so I'm not going to tell you guys because it's a major spoiler for the end. So, yeah. But if you have read this and you want to read more books like this, when I was reading it, one book did come to mind, and that is the Madman's Daughter trilogy. Specifically, Her Dark Curiosity, which is the second book in the trilogy. It kind of related to this book, but the second book is based off of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The third book is based off of Frankenstein, which is mentioned in the book, which is why I thought about it. And then the first book is based off of The Island of Dr. Moreau. But those two books have some similar qualities. Just I really love The Madman's Daughter. I did like this book too, but here's the thing. To tell whether I like a book and love a book, I like a book when I finish it and it's okay, and I have my opinions about it. I love a book when I just can't stop talking about it. I get so excited when I talk about it. And also, when I love a book, it puts me in a reading slump to where I can't read anything for like a week or 2 weeks or so. Like, the biggest reading slump I've ever been in was a month, which is really, really bad. But this did not put me in a reading slump, which means I did not entirely love this book, but I did like it, and it was an enjoyable read. And, it was my read for the week. So, this week I plan to be reading Roseblood by A.G. Howard. And is a Phantom of the Opera retelling. So we're going to see where this goes and see if she does the Phantom of the Opera justice. I have seen the movie. I have read the book. I still want to see the musical live, but we will see what happens. So this is the book for the week. Thank you guys for watching. If you have your own opinions and feelings about the book, whether you want to read it or you already read it, leave a comment down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it or thought my opinions were, I don't know, just inspiring to you. I don't care. Just like the video if you want to, or don't like it. It doesn't matter. If you want to get updates on when I post my next video, you could check my Twitter or you could subscribe to me here on YouTube. And don't be afraid to follow me on any of my other social medias, especially Goodreads, to see what I plan to read for the next week or two. So thank you guys for watching, and remember to keep calm and keep reading.